All right, so what we're doing here is we're working on our Quizlet vocabulary terms, and then we're going to connect this to our next activity on Sneetches. Who likes Dr. Seuss here? Everybody like Dr. Seuss? Okay, some of you may not know who Dr. Seuss is. We'll talk about that more in a couple minutes. But we are going to read about Sneetches, which is a metaphor for community and the different types of people within a community. So we will be doing a close reading of that next. But here, let's get going in the game. Ready, go! All right, let's go, guys. Good job, alpacas. Good job, koalas. Keep trying, reindeer.
Oh, damn, I got reset.
Let's go, orcas. Alpacas in the lead here. Oh, we got to work on these terms, guys. Good job, foxes. Keep going, foxes. Finish it out. I don't know until the end. Winner, foxes. Edsel, 2 in a row. So let's go over the stats for a second. All right. Belong to. Remember, is to be a part of something. We talked about that a lot in our Exploring Community in 3 Ways activity. Personality. An individual's characteristic pattern of thinking, feeling, and acting. Okay, let's look at another one. Member, right? Belong to, that definition is part of member. Belonging to a group is being a member of something. Some of you guys might be members of a gym, like 24-Hour Fitness or LA Fitness. Some of you guys will become members of the soccer team, like my boy Saul. You're going to make the soccer team, right?
Oh, I don't know. It depends on my classes.
Hobbies and interests, right? That includes playing soccer, playing video games, bowling, any of those kind of things. And oral history. Yeah, that's exactly how you want to think of it. History, right, is his story. It's talking about the past. When you are saying oral, you are talking about speaking that history, passing it down through word of mouth. Okay? Behavior, the way someone acts, especially toward others. You can have good and bad behavior. Some of you guys act good most of the time and have some bad behavior other time. Right? And diversity. This is the final one we'll address. We talk about diversity a lot. Right? Difference, variety of different races, religion, gender, or sexual orientation. Okay, so we're going to read this one more time, or play this one more time, and then we're going to read through the Sneetches. Okay, so I'm going to hit start. Oh, we lost Jesus and Mustafa, so let me go back. Let's see if it'll work this time. You guys ready? Yeah, one more time, and then we're going to do the reading. So I'm going to hit play for everyone who is ready. Okay.
finish.
Awesome, great job. Puffins. All right. Puffins is a great cereal. Yeah, go real quick and then we're gonna start on the activity. All right, so you know, Naomi, you're gonna need to open up this in Cami when you get back, okay? So, Roscoe, what we are doing here, guys, is get it on the screen for you to see, okay? We are going to open Sneetches Part 1. I am going to read this with you guys so we can practice our reading skills that some of us need to develop. So you guys are going to open that in Cami, okay? So we are going to annotate and highlight a few things at the end of the reading, but I'm going to read it for you, okay? In a read aloud. And then the next part is we are going to watch the video of it on YouTube of Sneetches, and you guys will have some questions to respond to. Total pages, okay?
Oh, we gotta read?
I'm going to read it out loud to you. You will follow along, and we'll work on our reading skills together, okay?
Oh, do we gotta read too or no?
Just follow along as I'm reading out loud, okay? So everybody get that open.
Wait, you have to open it?
Yeah, open it so you can look at it, because at the end I'm going to ask you to annotate a few things.
Yeah,
Okay?
what's your guys' uniform for the soccer?
They are long sleeve whites and long sleeve reds.
I got a question.
When does it start?
Next
It
Tuesday.
starts next week on Wednesday. We have practice again.
Oh, I already started?
It's after school program practices until the season starts when I have tryouts.
And do we have to go to that?
It's
I didn't spend 120. You put the saving 120. I didn't bring a lot. Why do you bring a lot of money?
Come to the field next Wednesday. at
Nothing
3
for
p.m.
guys.
Okay? Chargers field by basketball courts.
Same guy?
No, a lo mejor, pero ese es nomás como una de tus cosas. O te lo voy a quitar tan
¿Cuánto te va a cobrar?
B-U-F-F.
¿Cuánto te va a cobrar?
No, it's just for November.
800. Pero me van a dar cajas.
Because the earliest I can have a game is
No
November.
nomás dos así, pero cajotas.
¿Las tiene?
Sí.
¿Ahorita?
Is everybody on there?
After school.
¿Vas a ir a su casa o...?
No, aquí en parque nomás.
Can I go to your quarter?
You just think.
Yeah, no,
127.
Can I drink water?
One ASP sticker, one senior shirt, one ticket to receive water comes.
And where's that
Go
at?
and come back and we'll get started. This is Sneetches activity part 1.
So I go to
Yeah, we're going to do a quick annotation. I am Geo. Week 3.
Hey, am I pitching empty?
A couple things, but we'll worry about that. I'll give you guys time on Friday.
I'll try to do that one video, but like, this one I don't want to record like that.
You want to put a little sticky over the screen?
Oh, we
You
don't
don't
have
have
to
to show your, no, just your voice.
You should have said it.
You can just do your voice.
Yes. So in future videos, if you guys want, you can just cover the screen and just give me your voice. Okay? But what we're talking about is teaching you guys to work in multi-mediums, right? So you can do things like if you want to be super artsy in one of our projects, talk to me about that and I'll let you do an art submission. If you want to record a video of yourself or make a video because you're really tech savvy like Felipe, you can do that.
Yeah, because my Flickr wasn't working.
Yeah, so if you wanted to record that on YouTube, you could then post it on there and send me the link, right? So I want you guys to have a little bit of freedom and choice in how you turn in stuff. Okay? All right. So let's get started on our read aloud of the Sneetches. All right, everybody follow along. Mustafa, can you at least see that? Here we go. Now, the star-belly Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-belly Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small. You might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-belly Sneetches would brag. We're the best kind of Sneetches on the beaches. With their snoots in the air, they would sniff and they'd snort. Will have nothing to do with the plain belly sort. And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. When the star-belly children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You could only play if your bellies had stars, and the plain belly children had none upon theirs. When the star-belly Sneetches had Frankfurter roasts, or picnics or parties, or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain belly Sneetches. They left them out cold in the dark of the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain belly Sneetches were moping and doping alone on their beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. My friends, he announced in a voice clear and keen, my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean. I've heard of your troubles, I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that, I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you, I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed. And my work is 100% guaranteed. Then quickly Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine. And he said, you want stars like a star-belly Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard. So they clambered inside, then the big machine roared. And it clonked and it bonked and it jerked and it burked. And it popped them about, but the thing really worked. When the plain belly Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did, they had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars from the start. We're exactly like you can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your Frankfurter parties. Good grief, groaned the ones who had stars at the first. We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now how in the world will we know? They all frowned. If which kind is what, or the other way around. Then up came Mr. McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who, that's perfectly true. But come with me, friends, do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best Sneetches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches. Belly stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars, so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on theirs. And that handy machine worked very precisely. removed all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. Then with snoots in the air they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. We know is who, now there isn't a doubt, the best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without. Then of course those with stars all got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then of course old Sylvester McMonkey McBean invited them into his star-off machine. Then of course from then on, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. All the rest of that day on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in and out, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through, until neither the plane nor the star bellies knew whether this one was that one or that one was this one, or which one was what one, or what one was who. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up the beach. They will never learn, no, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was quite wrong, I'm quite happy to say. The Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches, and no kind of Sneetch is the best on the beaches. That day all the Sneetches forgot about stars, and whether they had one or not upon theirs. Okay? So, let's talk for a second about this story. Okay? How does this apply to what we've been talking about community? What did you want to say, Roscoe?
It's not about this.
It's not about what?
What is it? Mind Streeter?
A what?
This is. See, this website has been blocked by your administrator.
Play a game.
Who's that administrator?
There's a tech person for the school, so they got on to see me on that. Yep. So, can anybody tell me how this applies to community and identity? Edsel, what does identity mean? Yeah, so there's two people represented in it, right? There's the Sneetches with stars and the Sneetches without stars, right? But they're all still part of the same community. Whether they, right? And we talked about community before, right? You don't have to like each other, as we talked about in the Exploring Community 3 Ways document, right? We are just a group of people in the same area, and we become a community, or a nation, or a city, right? Charge your computer? Yeah, go sit back there on the stool there. Okay, so now we have some questions to answer, but the only thing I need you to do right now to work in Tammy again is you are going to go through and number the paragraphs again. Okay, so use the text box along the side to number all the paragraphs. And then I need you guys to highlight the star belly Sneetches and the plain belly Sneetches in the first paragraph.
What?
So see how the very first lines says star belly Sneetches,
What that counts as
and the third, yeah, these are 4 sentences, right? Or that's actually 2 sentences, but the first paragraph there, highlight plain belly Sneetches and star belly Sneetches. Okay? So this is a metaphor for community and identity, and what else? Racism. Okay? So this really talks about the history of the United States and just nationalism in general. Okay? So Dr. Seuss, He's from he lived the rest of his life in San Diego. Yeah, but did you know during World War II he wrote and made cartoons for the military? So he made propaganda for the United States government during World War II that talked about the Japanese, because that's who we were fighting in World War II, as well as the Nazis, the other people we were fighting. So if you guys look it up, or I can pull it up in a few minutes for you, you can see old racist political cartoons from Dr. Seuss talking about the United States winning the war and the Japanese and Nazis losing.
He was racist?
If you look at the cartoons themselves and the way they're depicted, it is a very negative caricature, very bad, poor, rude drawing of the Japanese people and how they're basically likened to monkeys. So definitely worth looking up because it is part of our past, whether it's positive or negative part of our past. We need to understand our past so that we can learn from it and move on in the future. All right? All right.